welcome to another installment of Metalhead Central, the show where I take an honest look at the harder side of music and give it an honest rating. Today, we're gonna throw on our suits of armor and all the implements that go with it because we're heading back into folk metal, or as the Metal Archive says, epic folk metal territory with German band Equilibrium and their new album Renegades. It was released August 23rd on Nuclear Blast. Now this is my first exposure to this band, and it's always interesting to get to hear some new music. Did they deliver? Let's find out. First of all, this album kind of surprised me in that there aren't really any elements of folk metal on it, so you may want to go ahead and ditch the suit of armor straight away. I went into it expecting to hear things like I'd hear on an Deviate or in an Extremo release, but then I did some more research on the band, and I found out that, like other bands, their sound isn't confined to one genre, and it includes elements of symphonic and black metal as well. I also found out that a lot of their melodies come from traditional German music, an interesting little tidbit about this group. But genre tags aside, this was a really good album. The thing that made this album work for me was the band's usage of keyboards. They have a new keyboardist, Skyly Rosehurst, and her contributions bring a certain level of atmosphere to the album. It almost sounds like something you'd hear from current-era Sonic Syndicate, or The Prodigy, but not quite as electronic, or Enter Shikari. It's borderline industrial, and it sounds really, really cool. The vocals on here are top-notch, with a nice balance between the rougher vocals typical of a band like this and a surprisingly good clean singer. Now that was the last thing I expected of this album, and it brings it to another dimension that really helps it feel complete. Some of the vocals on here sound like they wouldn't be out of place on a Killswitch Engage album, and it benefits the record. It's also produced very well. None of the instruments dominate the mix, and you're allowed to have moments to breathe and appreciate the musicality. But they do a great job of leading you out of those moments and then hitting you with another rough passage or very interesting riff. There's nary a moment on here without something to do or something to listen to, and you never really get bored with the album. On the downside, the album does feel a little unevenly paced. They have 4-minute tracks all the way through, and then they end with a 7-minute track, Rise of the Phoenix. Although, granted, it's really just another 4-minute track with 3 minutes of keyboards after it. It is excellent, though. The album feels heavier on the back half, and the 2 tracks preceding Rise of the Phoenix, Final Tier and Hype Train, yes, there is a song on here called Hype Train, it feels like they could have been left off the album and not been missed. They're not bad songs, but they're just okay, and they don't really stack up to the rest of the album. Overall, Equilibrium have released an album that intrigued me and made me want to listen to it more. It's not going to get a perfect score, but it was definitely worthy of being in the Album of the Year conversation. The keyboards, the melodies, and the riffage all work together to create something uniquely impressive, yet duly reflective of the things around them. Folk metal, it's not. Good metal, it is. I'm giving Renegades a 93 out of 100 on the YPS scale. Thank you so much for watching. Click like, and don't forget to subscribe for more Metalhead Central and the Metal Artist Review Show. Next week is the album every metal fan has been holding their collective breath for the past 13 years. Tool's new album, Fear Inoculum, is coming out, and I'll be scrutinizing it. Might take me a while because the album is said to be incredibly long and their music is kind of confusing, but rest assured I will be covering it. You've been watching Metalhead Central, where I give honest ratings to honest music, and I'll see y'all next time.